really excited because this is going to be gluten-free too, and no preservatives, none of that stuff that you don't want to have inside your green bean casserole. So I have a pot of boiling water here. I've got 1.5 pounds of trimmed green beans, fresh. And what we're going to do is we're going to blanch them. Okay, so what does it mean to blanch vegetables? You basically are going to dump them in some boiling water for a couple minutes, scoop them out, and then put them in some ice water, which we have prepared right here. So here they go into the water. This is about 1.5 pounds of green beans, which I just dumped into some boiling water. It's really quick. They're not going to be in there long. And why am I doing this? Because you know how when you cook green beans, they get all mushy? We hate that. We don't like mushy green beans. So what this does is this preserves the really beautiful color of the green beans and keeps them crunchy. That's what we want. We like them that way. All right, so these are just about done. Look at that. And they're going to cook some more. All right, that's it. That's all we do. Now I'm going to put them in this ice water, and that stops the cooking process. Okay? I'm just scooping them out of the pot and into the ice water. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to make the stuff that goes around the green beans for the green bean casserole. But these green beans are going to be fantastic inside the casserole because they're not going to be mushy, which is what we're come to expect. They're not frozen. These are fresh green beans, so it's going to add a whole new level of taste to your green bean casserole this year. Okay. All right, got the last little one. So you can see these are now going to be soaking inside the ice water. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to make filling for the green bean casserole. I'm going to move this pot of water, and then I'm going to move you guys over to my burner so you can see what we're going to do next. We're going to put some onions, mushrooms, and then we're going to make like a cream sauce for the green bean casserole. All right, now we have our amazing, fantastic, fantabulous Swiss diamond skillet. Okay, so if an intruder comes in your home, this is what you want to use. All right, so we're going to turn it on. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use the non-aerosol avocado spray. Why do I like the avocado spray? Because high smoke point and really healthy. So now what we're going to do is we're going to brown our onions, we're going to saute them, and then we're going to add mushrooms, okay? And what we're doing is we're creating the base for our green bean casserole, which is going to be so delicious. Now, I pre-cut the onions. This is one really large, really sweet onion. It's going to give a lot of flavor to this dish. Ooh, a little onion skin. Get out of there. All right, so we're sauteing our onions. All right, hopefully these will go quickly. Now what we're going to do is when these get caramelized a little bit, we're going to add our mushrooms, which are already sliced. And then over here we've got our cranberries bubbling away. I'm turning them down though, they're a little bit too high. All right, can you hear this sizzling? So this is a very finely diced onion. All right, we're just getting it to cook through until it's a little bit caramelized. I love the size of this pan also. It is really big. I'm so glad you love green bean casserole. This is going to be the best green bean casserole you've ever had. Because it's fresh, it's got really good ingredients in it. Like more fun than a barrel of monkeys. Are good enough. Can you see how they look? I'm going to post all these videos on YouTube. So when you see it on YouTube, please do me a favor, like the video and subscribe to my channel. It's so easy. And then you can see all the awesome videos that we're making. All right, mushrooms. I've already chopped them. There's 1 pound. We're going to saute saute them so they're soft. You gotta do these things in advance. If you dump the mushrooms into the green bean casserole while it's baking, it just won't be good. They're gonna be not the right texture. So 1 pound of mushrooms. These guys are just about done. Okay, these are perfect. This is exactly what you want them to look like. Can you see? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the flame and I'm going to put these in a separate container so that we can make the sauce and everything else that goes with it. So we've got our mushrooms, we've got our green beans, which we've already blanched. Okay, I'm transferring the mushrooms and the onions, all right, into a separate container, all right, because we want to make our sauce. This skillet's already hot, and why would I want to wash another one? So we're just going to transfer them into this large measuring cup that I used for the vegetables when we made the turkey. I'm telling you, look at this awesome spatula. It's fantastic. Okay. This is my exercise today. These pans are very heavy, and I'm lifting weights. Okay, now, next. Here we're going to make our sauce for the green beans. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take some margarine. You can use Earth Balance or whatever you choose, okay? It's totally up to you. Now, I've got a ½ cup of margarine. Now, if you're not having fleischiks or meat, you can use butter, but I'm using margarine because this is a non-dairy meal. All right, so first what I'm gonna do, now my skillet is off, you should know, and it's still super hot to melt the margarine, okay? I don't even have to do anything, I'm just melting it. Okay. Ooh, look how pretty that is. Now, oh, that's heavy. I have my liquids here, and my measuring cup here. I'm getting it ready. So as soon as this is completely melted, we're gonna take a ½ cup of flour. Now, for you glutinous people, you can use real flour. For you gluten-free people, like me, I'm a GFE, you can't, gluten-free eater for those of you that don't know, you can use 1-to-1 flour, it works great. Just taking all the stress off. I don't even have my burner on now. That's how hot the skillet is. So now I'm gonna take ½ cup of flour, this is 1-to-1 flour, and I'm gonna dump it in. Okay, and I'm just going to mix them together, la, 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 until it's completely blended together. That doesn't look so awesome, does it? It's kind of disgusting looking. Okay, that's okay, because it's going to be awesome. Now, you don't want to use metal utensils on these pans. It doesn't like it, it will scratch. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take 2 cups of almond bries. Okay, we'll start with 1. So this is almond milk. I've got my silicone covered spatula, and I'm just whisking this. I'm actually going to turn on the flame to low, and I'm whisking it until it completely blends into the liquid. Okay, I'm going to add a 2nd cup of almond milk. This is unsweetened almond milk. Okay, And I'm just whisking it on low temperature. Okay, and this is the sauce. All right, and it's gonna thicken because of the flour, the cooked flour we just did. All right. I'm trying to get all the lumps out. You don't want a lumpy sauce. That's not delicious. We only like delicious things. We can pretend that we like the things that aren't so delicious, but okay. Oh, that's thickening beautifully. I'm going to add a little bit of salt and some black pepper. Now that's really to taste, because if you like it a little saltier, that's fine. I'm going to add about 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt and about 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. All right, so 1/2 cup of margarine, 1/2 cup of flour, depending on what your gender of flour is, gluten-free or otherwise. All right, you can mix them together. 2 cups of soy or almond milk, your choice. Look how nice and thick that's getting. All right, that's what we want. We want a nice, thick sauce, because the vegetables, the green beans, and the mushrooms have a little bit of liquid in them. So we want this to be nice and thick. All right, that's good enough. That's pretty thick. Now, we're going to reintroduce the mushrooms and onions that we did. All right, that's your mushroom. That's the green bean and mushroom casserole. So this is the mushroom part. All right, look how awesome. That's the sauce. Awesome sauce. So that's going to be the sauce. Now, I need to drain the green beans, which look fantastic, by the way. Look how awesome that is. That's the filling. So I'm going to take the green beans out. I want to drain them, so I'm going to put them in this cup that we just took the mushrooms and onions out of, so they'll kind of have an opportunity to drain a little bit. And we're going to add them to the casserole. All right, now this looks like a lot of steps, but nothing was terribly complicated. All right, so now we've got our green beans. We're just going to dump them in here. Look how beautiful those are. Look at the color of those. See, by blanching them, i.e. putting them in boiling water for like a minute or two, like 2 minutes, and then dumping them into cold water to stop the cooking process, we end up with green beans like that. Okay, and now what we're going to do is we're just going to mix them all together. Turn my flame off. My flame is off, which is what I want. Now this looks like it's going to be really thick, but when it cooks, oh man. Oh man. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're mixing these together. Run away, mushroom. Okay, I'm just using one skillet to do this. All right, this looks pretty mixed nicely. What we're going to do is when we're done with this, all right, we're going to put it in the pan, and then we're going to make our fried onions to put on the top, the crispy, crunchy ones. All right, let me grab my pan, which is right here. I'm going to spray it with the olive oil spray that I love so much, so it doesn't stick. All right, and I'm just going to spoon these into the pan. When I'm done, I'm going to wipe out the pan and we're going to make the crispy onions that go on top. All right, there's got to be a better way to do this. Now you don't want to use metallic utensils on these pans. They're awesome, but they will scratch if you use metal on them. Even though they have the Swiss diamond coating, you don't want to like mess with that. All right. Ooh, our pies are going to be done in a minute. It's going to ding, and that's okay. So now we're going to scrape this into here. Oh, that looks so darn good. Okay, let's get the spatula and scrape this out. Look how everything comes off so nicely. Okay, now I'm going to spread these out in the pan. All right, so that they're kind of evenly distributed in the pan. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to actually get a paper towel and wipe out this pan. I have my paper towels right here. Look how convenient. Okay. I knew that was going to happen. That is our pies. Now, here's how we're going to make our crispity, crunchy onions. And here's what they're going to look like when they're done. Are you ready? This is what they look like when they're done. These yummy, crispy onions. So here's what we're going to do. I have everything sliced and ready to go. What I did is I sliced one onion very thinly. It's in here. Okay, I've got about a half a cup or a cup of flour. Now it can be gluten-free or otherwise. That's up to you. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some avocado oil. Remember why we're using it. It has a high smoke point and it's healthy. I'm going to turn on the skillet. Okay? And I'm going to put the avocado oil in the skillet. Now, you may think this is a lot of oil, but we're actually going to be frying these onions. All right? It is really yummy. So we're going to heat our oil. And I'm going to actually put on some gloves because onions are smelly. Now, keep in mind, if you want your green beans to have a little bit more of a creamier sauce, you can add like an extra cup of vegetable stock or almond milk to your green beans. That's up to you. All right, so I've got my flour here. It's all ready. I'm opening the bag. I'm taking the onions and dumping them in. Okay. You know that's not going to end well. All right, so I'm dumping them in here. That's pretty darn good. I'm going to zip it. Okay. Actually, I want to add a little bit of salt and pepper to this mixture, which I already had prepped. Okay. And I'm going to shake this until the onions are completely coated. Okay. Now, I'm using 1-to-1 flour. It's really okay to make this gluten-free. Super simple, right? It's so complicated. I don't know. Okay, so now I've got my avocado oil heating. I'm shaking off the excess flour on here as much as I can. Okay. And I'm going to dump these onions into the skillet. I may need to do 2 batches. Let's see if I can manage one. I want to get as much of the flour off because it's just a coating. I don't necessarily want the flour in the skillet. This is just 1 onion and some flour. We're making the crunchy onion topping. Now this is just really seasoned flour now. Do I have any more in here? Let's see. I'm kind of sifting with my hands so I don't get too much excess flour going on in here. Now, I know I have extra flour than I needed, but I really wanted to put a little bit of extra to coat. Make sure everything's coated properly. All right, I think that's just about all the onions. Okay. Now, let's grab another spatula, and we're just gonna whisk these around until they're browned and fried and crispy. Really good. I like the way that looks. Can you guys see what that looks like now? And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to spoon that over my green beans. Okay. Hold on. So make sure it's covered completely. And I'll show you what this looks like when I'm done putting the onions on top. Alright. Oh, that looks so darn good. Alright. So this is what it looks like before I put it in the oven. I'm going to stick this in the oven for about 30 minutes and it's going to crisp on top. And when everything's done, I'm going to show you what Thanksgiving looks like here in the Matten family. Alright, sort of. The last thing on our tour of Thanksgiving is green bean casserole. Look at that with the crispy onions on top. Look at those crispy onions. So here's what we did to make this, for those of you that don't remember. Whoop, sorry. We took 1.5 pounds of fresh trimmed green beans. We blanched them by putting them in a pot of boiling water for about 1.5 minutes. Then we removed them and put them in some ice water to stop the cooking immediately. Look how great that looks. I can't tell you, like, it smells so amazing in here right now. And then we made a cream sauce with 1/2 cup of margarine, 1/2 cup of gluten-free flour, 2 cups of almond milk, unsweetened, 1 cup of vegetable stock, okay, and we had sauteed 1 large onion, 1 sweet large onion, and 1 pound of mushrooms. Then what we did is we floured some onions in some seasoned flour, and we fried them in avocado oil. And when those were done, we put them on top and baked this for 30 minutes. Thanks, Adina. I'm telling you, this came out so nicely. And you see how nice the green beans are, right? They don't look mushy or overcooked like they sometimes can. And that's because we did the whole blanching thing in advance. All right, well, that's fantabulous.